Right, so hello and a warm welcome to our sixth podcast in the Conveyancing Connections series of PCS Pods. I'm Kate Forsdike and I'm a director of PCS Legal, and today I'm joined by the glamorous Lexie Carducci, who is a property finder and has built her whole career around property. So Lexie is going to answer some of our questions about using a property finder. So hi Lexie.
Thank you, Kate. I love you through the glamorous then. I will take it.
you definitely deserve it, that's for sure. So can you tell me, what does a property finder actually do?
Yeah, so as a property finder, we work for the people. So we're not an estate agent, which I think is the biggest thing that people are always thinking that's what we do. But yeah, we work on the other side from estate agents for the people that are looking to either buy or rent. So I help people that are looking for both. I'd say like 60% of my clients at the minute are actually looking to rent. So I help in both.
In different camps.
Exactly. Yeah. And like an estate agent will work for the vendor and the landlord, and they have all the properties on their books. Yeah. So I don't have any properties on a book or that I can necessarily access without using an estate agent. So I've got to work with.
So you're the other side of the coin almost. Yeah.
Exactly. But people are always like, oh, so we can basically just cut out estate agents and work with you. And I'm like, no, because I've got to work with the estate agents. But a good way to kind of put it is that in the States, there's something called an MLS, which is like a multi-listing system, which we don't have here. Yeah. So our estate agents can only access what's on their books unless they were looking to do like a split deal with someone. Yeah. Whereas what I can do is almost act as an MLS for my clients and access all the stock from all the different agents and private vendors, private landlords.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So what do you think are the benefits of using a property finder?
Yeah, so do you know what? I had this discussion with someone recently and they were like, it's to save money, right? And I was like, well, I feel like it used to be in like a different market. Okay. So previously people might employ a property finder because they're like, okay, they can negotiate for me and hopefully save me on the cost of the property. Yeah. I'd say, okay, we can still do that because we negotiate, but the main reason for using a property finder is one, like I just said, we will register, or we're already registered with all the estate agents in a particular area. So we're saving you massive amounts of time that you know how long people spend.
Time's so precious as well, isn't it?
So spend on the phone to estate agents, and half the time, like I love the estate agents that I work with. Like I work with them all, and like not trying to say a bad word against them, but half the time they call you up with stuff that's not even relevant. Yeah. So I'm there as like a filter to filter that out. Yeah. And at the end of the day, time is money to a lot of people. That
of course it is. If people are working and everything else, of course it would be.
Exactly. Yeah. So I kind of and there's various different services that I can offer or people offer as a property finder. Yeah. So we kind of hold your hand throughout the whole process of moving home, whether again that's buying or renting. A lot of my clients are coming from outside of London or even outside of the UK. Okay. So they're not familiar with the way the UK market works. And our market, like we just said, with like the multi-listing system in the US is so different here.
It's massively different
than it is in other countries. Yeah. Like, I actually think we're going to see more of like the American, Australian way of working. Like, people are already kind of doing it. Like you've got the Daniel Daggers, Tyron Ash, running almost these brokerages. Which is, I personally think we're going to see more of that come to the forefront, which is quite exciting. Like
it's good to see changes. Yeah, definitely.
And with that, I feel like we're going to get a lot more buying agents out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it's quite a unique thing at the minute. I think you don't hear too many of property finders being around, so it's quite a good thing. So what's the process kind of from your point of view when you get instructed from somebody to find them a property?
Yeah, so the first step is always to obviously have a conversation. And like I said, so many of my clients aren't actually in London or abroad, so that can be done in person, obviously, over a nice little coffee, or to do it nowadays over Zoom. But that initial conversation is so important because half of my job is like managing expectations. Like I can't sit there and kind of over-promise, under-deliver. A lot of what I'm saying or advising my clients is actually that's maybe not going to work for the budget that we're looking for, but here are the solutions. Yeah. And actually, have you ever thought of this area? And going back to like the different services that I offer, one of those is an area orientation. which is so beneficial to people because we can basically like go out for a day and look at different areas. So, you know, if I'm going through the list of requirements from my client that this is how many bedrooms they need, this is their budget, this is the kind of time frame that we're working with, they need a garden, they need a garage, like all these points. And I'm thinking, okay, you may not get that in that area, but let's go on an area orientation. I'll show you an example property in that area. Yeah. And then how about we actually go a little bit further out to this area, and then you're going to tick all those boxes, which they may not considered or even know about.
Exactly,
you know, people think of London, and when I used to come and visit as a kid, you're like the West End, Oxford Street, where am I living, basically? But then my favourite parts of London are like all those little hidden gems, like Hampstead Village, and Barnes, and Wimbledon Village, and all those cutesy little places that if you're coming as a tourist, you just don't realise exist.
No, definitely.
So that's like the first point of call. So doing an initial conversation and just making sure we're all on the same page and that my clients understand. You know, we're on the same page and they understand that what they will get for their money or what compromises we need to make. Like, I hate the word compromise, but I feel like it has to happen. Like,
exactly. You can't wave a magic wand, can you, and say, here it is. But even though you probably want to, but I can imagine there's probably a few things that might need to...
And it's sometimes things that people haven't thought of as well. And it's not saying no. Like, I feel like with every, okay, maybe this doesn't work scenario that I give my client, I've got an answer for it. Like, we either reduce the number of bedrooms that you're looking for, or we're realistically going to be looking at flats rather than houses, or we move that little bit further out to a different area. Like, it's always weighing up that area versus price versus space versus specification. Like, unfortunately, it's so hard to tick every single one of those boxes.
100%,
but it always works out. Like, and that's like that bit of positivity that I want to give to people, because I know it's so stressful. Like, it's a big moving house, but you will find something.
Yeah, exactly. So what areas do you cover? Is it mainly London, or do you branch out a bit?
It's mostly London that I cover, sometimes the home counties, particularly going out into Surrey. So I work with a lot of people that are putting children into places like ACS Cobham. So they want to be in those areas like Esher, Cobham, that little golden triangle that's there. And I love places like Thames Ditton, which is just on that border of London and Surrey, and it's so cute. Yeah. Really nice. I'm sorry, I was going back to the question before, because that was like that first step of the process. It's me. I carry on, I chat away, and then I'm wait, I didn't actually cover what the next step is. So once we've done that initial conversation, then we can do like an area orientation. Then I do all the research, and then we go out on a home search a day, 2 days, like however long. Sometimes it can be more ad hoc if there's really not a lot of stock, like there is right now. There's not a lot of stock out there. So a lot of my searches at the minute are more ad hoc. So maybe there's a couple of properties that pop up one week that I'll go and send you to go and have a look at. I can accompany you. There's so many, like every client that I work with, it's more like a tailored, bespoke service, because not everyone needs the same amount of assistance as well. So some people are like, oh, I want you to do the negotiations for me. And some people are like, actually, I'd like to negotiate it myself. That's fine with your advice. Some people want me to accompany them on every viewing. And some people are like, actually, I just want you to find the properties and I'll go out and view them myself.
It's probably good to have a second opinion, though, with you. I think when you're looking at properties, or sometimes you have your heart set on something and someone can say something, you think, oh, actually, maybe that's not the best one for you, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And also it's about, like, my job is, a lot of it's about finding that off-market stock. So going back to our very first question, which was why do people use you? Because we can get access to that off-market stock that, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I can do a job and I'll just look through Rightmove and Zoopla and the property portals, but 80% of my clients take stuff that hasn't even hit those portals.
Really? Wow.
So much stock doesn't hit the big property portals. The only way you're going to get access to it is being registered with all the agents. And that is time consuming. And it's a big job to do for someone. And why not let someone else come in and take that pressure off you? Like, I always think, and I know this is a really silly kind of comparison to make, but I always think, well, I'm not going to try and sit at home and try and dye my own hair, because it will go wrong. I'm going to an expert in their field. That's right. So why, when we're purchasing, for the majority of us, which is the biggest purchase of our life, do we not use a professional to help us? Now, a lot of people think that professional that's going to help them is estate agents, but they don't even work for you.
No, they're working for the
vendor
seller,
and the landlord. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so what sort of fees do you usually charge? Are they fixed or per hour? So you don't have to tell me the amount. But just a rough guide.
I think that's a really good question for people to know, and probably like the biggest question that people that haven't maybe heard of a property finder. I guess property finder can cover, like, I put it under property finder, but like you said, it can be renting or buying. Some people call it a buying agent. Some people call it a property sourcer, which is like kind of looking for investment properties. But there's 4 ways that you can charge, or I charge a client. One of them is a day rate. So normally that goes out to my clients that are looking to rent. And a lot of the clients that are looking to rent are coming in from like big corporate companies. So they're given like an allowance from their company. So maybe they're like, okay, you get a day allowance or 2-day allowance. So that'd be like a day rate that I would charge. And that would cover that initial consultation, doing my research, taking them out for a day or 2 days, however long they get. They might be given an area orientation within that as well. And then negotiating for them and basically holding their hand till they move on in. So that's what I charge, like a day rate. Typically with buying, when someone's buying a property, we take like a retainer fee per 6 months, which comes off the overall fee they pay us at the end. Because it's working with a buyer can sometimes take, like, sometimes I don't get paid on a job for a year. So taking that retainer helps you kind of cover that time.
Exactly. Because you're putting a lot of time, I imagine, and effort into.
And if something falls through, I mean, as an example, a retainer fee on average is about £2,500. But actually, if you broke that down hourly into all the time, if someone didn't take something within that 6 months, like, you're not making money because it's whereas the whole fee is normally a percentage of the property's sale price. So somewhere between 1% and 3% is typically what we take as a buyer agent, which would be paid for by the person buying the property. So it's quite a big chunk of money for people to pay for a service, as well as, like, particularly if they're looking to sell, because they'll be paying another fee to the estate agents. Now, a third way that we can kind of get paid on a job is to actually take a fee from the estate agents. But I say that to my clients. Sometimes I do this for, like, friends. They're like, Lexie, I'm not paying your fees, but help me out. And I'm like, sure, guys. And we can take a fee from the agent. We can't obviously take for both sides. It's a conflict of interest. And not every agent is going to be willing to give us a split fee. Not every property is going to offer a split fee on it. So it doesn't give you access to the whole market, which is kind of pointless of our service.
But then surely that goes into an estate agent's... it's a benefit to them to have people like you around, because as soon as properties come on, you can find someone to buy them, which is kind of almost doing part of their job for them, really. So it's like a win-win.
I like pre-vet clients for them, and that's why it's so nice to, you've got to get on with the estate agents, and as much as I need to work with them, if in a quiet market, they love to work with us, because we're basically bringing them, any market, we're bringing them someone that is like, they style them as like a hot applicant. Because they know they're looking to move. They're paying someone to help them find something.
Exactly.
So you're kind of like, we're good to go here. These people aren't tire kickers or take people that are going to waste your time because they actually want to buy something or rent something. That fourth point that I was going to say, and what people historically did as property finders, was actually take a percentage of what they saved people on a sale price. But nowadays, with the market the way it is, people are paying asking price over asking price, so it just doesn't really work that way anymore.
It doesn't work. No, that's right. So, but it's market. Client, really, isn't it?
Another big thing of what we do is to basically package up our clients to the estate agents, because I think a lot of people, when they put forward an offer on a property, they just put forward the offer and that's it. But actually, there's so much more that needs to come with that. We can list details of the fact that they've got their mortgage accepted. These are the contacts for that. This is who they're working with to do this, that, and everything else, and even putting together like a little bio about them. I know it sounds so silly and like such a little thing to do, but the amount of times that my clients have got a property from us writing a bio and there being something that connects them with a landlord or a vendor.
From the seller, though, if you were having 2 or 3 different offers on the table, and you had all this information from this buyer, you surely would go with them because you've already done the homework for them, rather than just Joe Bloggs putting in an offer for this. You know, you would be more inclined to go with the one that has a lot more information. And as you say, that it's paying for a service that's finding them that property as well.
And I've had instances where, you know, we've put forward an offer from a client and I've said, my client's children are, this is who they are, they're going to this school, as just to give them some information of why they're moving to the area.
Yeah.
And then the vendor's like, oh, my kids went to that school, and there's instantly this connection there. Yeah. You just don't know what connection there's going to be out there, so you might as well put it in a little bio.
Why
even
not?
Even like silly little things. And this is like talking about renting, but I've had a client who's had like some brand and breed of dog, and then the landlord's like, I've had that breed of dog. And it's like these silly little things that connect people.
Oh, I love that. So what would a buyer sort of expect from an initial meeting with you? Like, do you go through all their mortgage and make sure they've got everything in place first, or do you kind of advise them to go off and do all that before? Yeah,
now I'd always advise someone to get a mortgage broker and have everything kind of like already agreed in principle
before you go out looking.
Go out looking. And most people that come to me don't have that in place. They are really starting from the beginning. Yeah, so that's another thing that I can kind of point them in the right direction to help them out with. I always advise them to go and do that. And some people come to me without understanding their budget and what they actually might be allowed to borrow on. So I'm like, go and sort that first. Here's some recommendations. You don't have to use them, but here's 3 or 4. And then come back to me and we can take it from there and discuss going forward. Because that often changes a lot of things. And there's no point in me having a conversation with someone until they have all of that like verified and checked and ready to go. Definitely.
Otherwise you're putting your time in. And their circumstances might change.
Exactly.
So after you've found the dream property for somebody, do you stay in the process until completion's taken place?
Pretty much. And again, it depends how much support they need from me. But I absolutely can until keys are handed over and everything's done, and just help that process go along. And when I said earlier about the percentages that we charge being somewhere between like 1% and 3%, the higher end of that is going to be how much more after. So it's completely optional. If people want me to help out throughout the whole way, absolutely.
I suppose really though, when you think about it, if somebody is working hard, they haven't got the time to keep chasing conveyancers and solicitors and stuff, then they can use you as that support. Then that will help them no end, really, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely. And I always think, like, when I go through the buying process with my developments, I'm always like, I know this is my job, but oh my God, it would be great to have someone do this for me.
I know, exactly. To me, it seems like an absolute dream. So what's the best piece of advice you've been given when looking for a property?
Oh, the best piece of advice I've given someone else, or like I've just found like throughout the
you've probably found throughout your career.
I think, and I say this so many videos in my Instagram cover this, but just being nice to your estate agent, or if you're buying or renting privately and you've gone direct to a vendor or landlord, just not underestimating how much your connection of being a nice person to them can kind of affect you getting that property or not. Some people go into properties with the thought that, okay, if I talk this down, I can come in with a really low price. But actually, if there's 2 or 3 people that are offering on that property, whether you've said that in front of the agent or the vendor or landlord, who do you think they're going to go with? Someone that's offered the same that they clicked with and thought they were a nice person, I really want them to get it, or someone that's been rude to them? And I just think that you cannot underestimate being nice to your estate agent. I'm friends with most of the people that I've bought properties from, and that's the way in development. If I'm looking for a property for myself, knowing agents in my area, like I invest in W3, W4 in Chiswick and Acton, and I kind of know a lot of the estate agents in that area. We're friends, we'll go for drinks. And I know that I'll be given something if I'm looking before someone else will.
Yeah,
or they'll
exactly.
give you a heads up, like 2 weeks before something goes live. They're like, Lexie, we've got this thing that I'm working on. I think it might, come to the market. Do you want to get in early?
Yeah, brilliant. That's right. Yeah, connections are everything, aren't they?
Massive.
Okay, and have you got any sort of tips for people that are looking to buy or rent properties? Like, what's the best tips you could give someone?
I think definitely number one, particularly for buying, and renting, is just be organised.
Yeah,
there is no point going out there, finding your dream property, but not being in a place where you're actively ready to make an offer on it.
Yeah.
And then you won't get it because you're not in a position where you can move forward with it. And so then everything you'll see going forward, you're just comparing to that one that you were like, I've already found my dream home, but I wasn't in a position to move on.
Yeah.
So be ready, get your ducks in a row, have all your paperwork ready. That's one big tip to get started.
I completely agree with that one as well.
Definitely. I know, I was like, that probably makes your life so much easier.
It does. And funnily, I think every podcast I've done, every person has said, be organised. So
it's one of those things, you've got to get it done. Second thing is just to be open to looking at things that you wouldn't have considered.
Yeah.
And don't rule stuff out. Like if you've looked at pictures online, sometimes the pictures make stuff look really good, and then you get there and it's not that great. And then sometimes it could be the complete opposite. I had a client that's offered on something. In fact, I was putting it forward this morning, and I almost didn't show them this property because I thought, I don't think it's quite them. The location's really good though, so we'll go and see it. And the pictures were just a bit, they weren't speaking to me. But we got there. It was amazing, and it just goes to show that you can't rule stuff out. You need to go and see it. And sometimes, I always make the joke that I will kidnap my clients. We're going to see this property, and they're like, "But Lexie, it's not in the area that we want." And I'm like, "Guys, we're going.
Please.
We're in my car now. Doors are locked. We're going there." I don't know, but it's you just be open to it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you're out on a day of viewings,
it's not going to do any harm, is it?
It's not going to do any harm. You're out for a day, you might as well go and see it.
Definitely.
And that leads to another tip: view, and try and view stuff back to back, because it really helps with comparing properties. Act quickly on things, because if you, particularly in rentals and particularly in London, whether that's sales or lettings, things move so quickly.
They do.
If you go and see something on Monday and then you're like, okay, cool, well, now I can't take time or find time till Friday, and I'll go and see this on Friday. I quite like the one on Monday. And then you get to Friday and you're like, I didn't like that one. I'm going to go with the one on Monday. It's probably gone.
It's too late. Too late.
Whereas if you can view them back to back and just be a little bit flexible with your time, go and view it on a lunch break. I'm sure whoever you're working for is going to appreciate that as soon as you find a property, you're going to be putting in more time at work anyway, and you're not going to be so stressed. If you're 10 minutes late back, I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I suppose in the London market is so different. I imagine that properties do go very quickly.
Even on the day, if it's a good property, it will be gone on the day.
Yeah, wow.
In this market, there's not a lot of stock. There's so many people looking, and that's not to panic people. It's just that's how it is.
I think that goes back to being organised. You need to be in that position to be able to put your offer in straight away and go with the process as quickly as you can.
Yeah, and I also think try and find out as much as you can about the situation of the person that is selling or is renting out their property, because that way you can, that's part of my job, to tailor our offer to what we know they want.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much for recording this podcast today. I think next time I'm finding a property, I'm definitely going to be giving you a call. It seems like a dream. I think that and someone packing up your house for you and moving you is the two things that I would definitely like to
happen. And we'll have such a fun day out. That's one of the things that I love my days out with my clients, because we put in a little lunch break. I would say to them at the end of the day, have you found it enjoyable and productive?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be enjoyable. And as you said,
that's the whole point. That's what I'm here for.
You're putting the fun into it, which I really like that. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you for having me.